Alright, so now I'm going to talk about Linux permissions, which determine who is able to do what with a given file or directory. You can see permissions as print them out with this lsl command. Gives you permission information as the first column. It also includes information like who is the owner of a given file and what group is that file associated with. And so just an explanation of what these permissions mean in this first line. You have these three sort of groups of three letters. They are R, W, and X. And R stands for read, so whether or not you can read a file. W is whether or not you can write to that file. And X is whether or not you can execute that file. In the case of directories, which are marked with this D, the X permission is also needed to list the contents of that directory. So and they also have a numeric value, which is something that'd be a bit confusing at first. Basically, for these three permission groups, read has a value of 4, write has a value of 2, and execute has a value of 1. And for each of these groups, you can represent the owner or the group or everybody else's permissions using a number that will just be the sum of those three. So if you want to give somebody full read, write, and execute privileges on a file, then that will be represented by the number 7, 4 plus 2 plus 1. If you just want to give them read and write, it would be 4 plus 2 is 6. Just read and execute is 4 plus 1 is 5. And then, yeah. So yeah, you can see here in this output, yeah, this first section is for owner, me. Second section is for group, only has read permission here. And then you can change those permissions with the chmod command. So if I want to, let's say I want to make it so that anyone in the group games is able to not just read this, let's say this ls output file, but also write to it. And there are a couple ways I can do that. One thing I can do is do the full numeric value, which in this case, I would have to remember, well, the first one's owner, and I would want read, which is 4, write, which is 2, so that's 6. And then I want to also give the group write permission, so I'll say 6. And then for the last one, it would be just read, so 4. And you can see that changed the permissions to what I was looking for. A bit more of an intuitive way to do that, though, would be to use chmod and then say now I want to give the group execute access. I can just do G plus X. So there you go. And then you can also do that with a full directory, the chmod and then a capital R. So let's say I want to give full permissions to everyone for dir1, or everyone who can access dir1 rather. Say chmod r, and 777 is full permissions, which you should generally try not to use due to security issues. And you can see now full permissions to that directory. Of course, nobody else would really even be able to access this since it's all contained in my home directory, which is, we do a lsl of the home directory root and grep for me. You can see that the home directory permissions are 700, which is to say that the owner has full permissions to read, write, and execute, whereas the group and everybody else have no permissions at all on it. So they can't even read anything that is in the home directory, which is very good.